Welcome to the sixth episode on Lean Six Sigma series, and in this episode we are going to cover constructing and interpreting histograms. I am Sandeep Bartwe, Master Black Belt Lean Six Sigma from Accelerate Management Consulting, and in this episode we are going to talk about one of the very important tool in graphical analysis, that's histogram. Before we go into histogram, let's quickly look into why we need graphical analysis. Now, as we have seen in our last episode, that's episode 5 on graphical analysis helps us translate our data into meaningful insights. A graphical data reveals trends, variations, patterns, and relationships. Graphical data is used for data analysis because sometimes in our data the patterns are hidden. The variation in our data is difficult to understand. There are relationships within the data which are invisible, and analyzing the large data set becomes overwhelming. As well, human brains understand pictures better than the data, raw data, and therefore we should use the graphical analysis for our data analysis. So let's look into one of the very important tools, histogram. Histogram is also one of the 7 QC tools which is used for data analysis. It provides a graphical representation of distribution of your data, and the histogram is used for continuous set of data. It helps us understand pattern, variation, and shape of our process, how my process is performing over a period of time. Histogram provides central tendency as well as it provides a measure of dispersion. Before we go into how to construct histogram, let's look at what are the differences between bar chart and histogram. Now, as you know, bar chart is used for categorical data when we want to compare categories, and histogram is used on continuous data where we want to understand the distribution of our data. Generally, on x-axis in histogram we will have beans of numeric intervals, and in bar chart we will have categories. Bars are touching each other in case of histogram, whereas in bar chart those are separated by gaps. Order can be rearranged in bar chart, whereas order is fixed in a numerical order in histogram. It interprets spread, shape, and variation. Bar chart compares between the two categories. Now let's look at when to use histogram. So histogram, if you have a continuous data and you want to understand shape of distribution, that is whether my distribution is symmetric, skewed, or bimodal, in that case we will be using histogram. If we want to access the spread and variation of the data, if you want to identify outliers or unusual values within your data, and if you want to check process stability before doing any further analysis, and if you want to evaluate process capability against the specification, you should be using histogram. Histogram can be used in all the areas of manufacturing, supply chain and logistics, quality control, customer service, finance and business, and any other areas. When we should not be using histogram? Whenever our data is categorical, that is not numerical, or when we want to compare categories or discrete groups, or when considering data with few observations. If we don't have enough data, that is the data set is less than 20 or 30, we should not be using histogram. So in nutshell, histogram gives us a big picture of how our data is distributed. It helps us understand behavior of our process and makes better decisions. Let's look at how to construct histogram. I have taken these data points around 30, okay, just for a reference purpose, and as an example to construct the histogram here. So this data is about length of a part in centimeter. So first step is collecting your continuous data. The second step is calculating range. what is range? Range is maximum value minus minimum value. In our case, the minimum value is 17 and maximum value of the part is 70, and therefore range is 53. Step 3 is deciding number of classes. So as a thumb rule, the number of observations, if you have 30 to 50, then you should be using 5 to 7. If you have 50 to 100 data points, then you should be using 7 to 10, or if you have more than 100, then you should use 10 to 15. However, there is also an equation which is called as Sturck's rule, which is k is equal to 1 plus 3.322 log 10 of n. N is our number of data points. Based on that, when we calculated using our data set of 30, the k value comes to 5.9, which is approximately 6. So we are taking 6 as our number of bins. Next step is calculating class width. So class width is equal to range divided by number of classes. So our range was 53 and we had 6 bins, so our class width becomes 8.8, and we round it off to a convenient value which becomes a class width of 9. So based on this, our class widths become 17 to 25. So the class intervals become 17 to 25, 35 to 43, 44 to 52, 53 to 61, and 62 to 70. Then the next step is counting the frequency. How many data points are there in that particular class interval? So we have done that, and then the last step is drawing the histogram. Now let's look at how to create histogram using Excel. So let's create a histogram using Excel. So as a first step, we have put all our data in the Excel, that is column B and column C. I have put all my data, part number and length of parts in centimeters. So we have almost 30 data points over here. So once I have the data, then I have calculated maximum of the data using max function, minimum using min function, and range. As you know, our number of bins are 6, and based on this I have calculated my class interval to be 9, 8.8, which is approximately 9, rounding up to the 9. Based on this, then I have identified my class intervals. So the class interval is minimum 17, and then we have a class interval of 9, so 17 to 25, 26 to 34, 35 to 43, like that. So once we have these class intervals, then we will go for constructing the histogram. Click on the data, go to data analysis. Go to data analysis. Now if someone does not have this data analysis tab over here, then he has to click to the file, go to more, click on options, find out add-ins, and in add-ins go to manage Excel add-ins. So there are multiple manage Excel add-ins. Click go, and here you have to select analytical toolbox, analytical toolbox VBA and solver, and click on OK. Once you do that, you should be getting a data analytics and solver over here. So once you have this data analysis over here, click on the data analysis tools. You will find multiple tools in this. So there are statistical as well as graphical tools. Then you select this histogram. Once you select the histogram, go to input range. Now this is the input range which for our data. So click on the input range. I have also put on the bin range, which is our class interval 25 to 17, the higher one. Now if in case you don't want to or don't want to calculate the class intervals, you can leave it blank and Excel will automatically calculate the bin range as well as the class intervals and everything. Then you select the output range. I will select the output range somewhere here. Okay, and then lastly you have to select the chart output and click on OK, and you will get the histogram over here. Now since our histogram, we said that our
we so our intervals have to match with each other, the bars have to match with each other. So right click on that, on the graph, go to format data point and keep the gap width 0, set the gap width to 0, and you will have a histogram, perfect histogram with everything.
So now that we have created or constructed a histogram, let's look at interpreting the histogram. Now if you get the histogram of your process data like this, that means your data is moving beyond the lower specification and upper specification limits. The data is well centered. However, it also has a large variation. So the dispersion is very high. So the standard deviation of this data is higher. And since these data points are falling beyond upper specification and lower specification limit, that means the process is also producing defects. If you get the histogram like this, in this case you can say the data is very tightly distributed. So the standard deviation is low, but it is poorly centered. It is more towards the lower specification limit. And since there are certain points, which are certain data points, which are beyond lower specification limit, that means the defects are being produced. If we are getting a histogram like this kind of histogram gives you a clear indication that your data is very well centered, standard deviation is also low. And that means the data my process is clearly doing very well. If we are getting a histogram like this, it means that there are two modes in this histogram. And that means the data is of two sets. There is a two set of data which is there, or different distributions at work over here. And if you get a similar this thing, but you don't get a peak, in that case you can say that the process is over controlled. And if you are getting this kind of data, that means you have to segregate your data for different set of processes and then run the histogram again. The data can be of two shifts, two different times, or two different processes altogether. If we are getting a data like this, that means my data is not normal and it is not normally distributed, and we need to first normalize our data before we do any further analysis. So in one slide, if we are getting a histogram like this, which is well centered, the mean, median and mode are all together, that means our data is normally distributed and my process is capable. If we get a data which is skewed on positive side, it is called as the rightly skewed data, and this can have few unusually high values in one side, or similarly on negative side if we are having another data. Sometimes you get a negatively skewed data if you are doing a data analysis after successful improvements. Then Kurtosis also provides you the interpretation of data. If there is a high peak, it's called as leukocritic data histogram, and it is a overall tall and narrow peak. There can be more extreme values in this set of data. Then there are tachycritic kind of thing, which is flat, and then in this case we can say this data is flat and very wide distribution, and there is less consistency in this process there. And as we saw, there is a bimodal data. Lastly, if we are looking from a customer requirement point of view, and if you have only one center requirement, then if you are getting a data like this or histogram like this, we can say my process is well centered. If we are getting a histogram like this, we can say my process is too high or process is too low. If we have lower and upper specification values, and if we are getting a histogram of our data in this form, then we can say my process is statistically under control, and we can do a capability analysis of this. And if we are getting this kind of data, that means distribution or standard deviation is very high. There is a high spread in our data. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. And if you feel that we are adding value to your knowledge by providing these videos on Lean Six Sigma, please subscribe to our channel. And if you like this, please click the like button. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode.